Hello and welcome to the God is Geek podcast. My name's Adam Cook. It is time. It is the season. 'Tis the season to be gamesy. Joining me and making my heart swell with pride that he is here is Adam Carroll.
How are you?
I'm great, mate. Yourself?
Oh, I'm very good.
Of course, you can also just about hear him tittering away there. It is the one, the only Gary Bailey.
Hello there. I'm raring to go with the bad opinions.
Well, listen, hey, news coming on that soon, perhaps, maybe, depending on time, because games are coming.
Because Gary's going to jail.
I have rung the police. Sorry, Gary, it's over for you. You're going to prison in the prison of bad opinions, which I imagine is not that bad. Probably it's low security. Probably got the 4K telly still and the PS4 Pro in there. You know, political satire. That's what prisons are like now. They're holiday camps, right? Right, everyone, right? Everyone's good. Everyone's raring to go. We are kind of in it now. It's August.
Here we go.
I don't know, is Madden actually out now or not? I think it comes out, it's the EA Access thing. Well, Madden being out is like the big clacks thing going off. You know, hey, games are coming. We are not far from PES. We're not that far, lads, from Red Dead. We're not that far off.
No.
Spider-Man next month. Games are coming. And some games have been coming for quite some time. Now, well over a year ago, I played an early access game on Xbox One called We Happy Few. At the time, it had a lot of buzz. Microsoft showed it, and they have now shown it at 2 E3s. They showed this game off. It looked like BioShock. It looked like Dishonored, and BioShock had a lovely baby. And that intro was great. And then it turned into some weird sandbox survival game, and quite honestly, thought it was dreadful. The feedback appeared to be that people liked the story stuff at the start and they wanted more of it. So, Compulsion Games, they went away, didn't they, Gary?
Yes, they did.
They went away for, I think, it must be about 2 years. And they put a story, well, that story, into the game, and they released the game, and you and I have both played it all the way through. Well, Gary, What do you think of We Happy Few? Or should I call it We Ploppy Poo?
You could if you were 7.
I am.
It's
We Ploppy
Poo will always make me laugh. I'm just going to say that right now.
Yeah, as it should. Yeah,
No.
Yeah. Who are we kidding? It's funny.
Farts are funny. I'm going to say that right now.
Yeah, it's such a disappointing game.
Okay.
I mean, the opening starts well, and you know you get
the
whole
opening is
intro
still
thing.
the same opening it was 2 years ago.
Yeah, and it all kind of falls apart once you hit Wellington Wells. And
So within an hour.
yeah, I mean, that's it, isn't it? 'Cause it's,
Yep.
I mean, the weird thing was like the save system's shocking, and it makes no sense. I mean, right at the beginning, like after you've done the escape bit, which we've all seen.
Yeah, that's the thing they showed literally the first time they revealed the game.
Yeah.
That cutscene is the start of the game. Still is.
And then you end up out and about in the open world, and I went into the town where it's like they all hate you because you're still dressed in like your finery.
Yep.
And then it's like, okay, right, you're gonna need to basically tear up your clothes, make them realise that you're not that person, and blend in. Which, cool mechanic, I like that. But shortly
Really?
after, I quite like that. It just means like, I mean, it's a bit shit that you can just you go into
Literally
a room,
tear your clothes
Yeah.
and look, I'm one of you now.
Yeah.
That's the equivalent, Gaz, of turning up to a football match in red to watch Man United, going in the wrong end and just changing shirts, and then all going, it's all right now. It's all right, mate. You know, you're incognito now, mate. You're one of us now.
No, I don't think the way it was introduced was good, but the overall idea is good. You know what I mean? Like the fact that if you go into it, like the outside area in your finest clothes, people will come after you. The same goes.
No one likes rich people. You're saying.
Yeah. But anyway, the thing I was saying is, when I got there, I did that little bit, the starting bit, and I was like, right, I need to go. So I saved and quit.
Okay.
Went back in, and I'm just like, I don't know where I was. I just woke up in the middle of a field somewhere. I'm like, all right.
It tends to put you on a park bench the nearest park bench to where you were. This is a real complicated game to talk about, Gaz, because it's got so many fucking problems, and yet there are some really good bits in it. But it's just the thing I went away feeling, and I'm skipping a bit here. I don't know how you feel. We haven't actually had a chance to speak about it until now. But the thing I went away feeling is that they just threw too much game at this. Like it's an open world game. It's an RPG. It's a survival sim. It's a story based first person stealth 'em up. It's also a melee combat. They just threw so much game at it, and the problem I found is that when it all said and done, I actually think the story is pretty damn good, and I think the voice acting and writing is pretty damn good. But when it comes to actually playing it, it's just it's left wanting so badly.
See, I wanted to like the story, but by the end I was kind of like, I don't even know what the story was, because there was that much wandering about in the open world.
See, that's another problem. Like there's some of the side quests are quite fun, quite interesting, if basic, but the actual story missions tend to just always be go to place, do thing, go back to place you were at, go back to different place, do thing, go back to place you were at, and eventually pushing the story on. And sometimes there's so much just walking from place to place, and listen. So I mentioned what it is. What I actually didn't add there is that the thing that they showed off about the Joy tablets. So at some point, the mechanic is introduced where you go back to an area where you have to look like you're on Joy, right? So there's a Joy dispensary. It's basically a telephone box, isn't it, Gaz?
Yes.
That mechanic is not fun. It's frustrating to have to continue. So did anyone play Dead Rising 2?
Yeah.
Do you remember the Zombrex thing?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Was that not the worst thing about that game?
Yeah, it was awful.
Right, so that's what this is, basically. So you can get joy pills that you can have in your inventory, but if you run out, you kind of just have to find some.
It's just a nuisance. That's all it is. It's a massive. It's a burden.
And that's exactly what it is. But they go one further in this game in that you have a meter. So if you overdose on joy, for some reason everyone goes apeshit at you, and all you can do is I guess you can fight them off. I found myself just running away until it eventually the joy's out of your system, and then trying to hide until they
Yeah, it's so frustrating because I mean, I think I told you this when I first sort of entered that area, and I ended up, the joy meter went down, and if it goes like completely, you then go into withdrawal, and people sort of, well, they're supposed to go, hang on, you don't look right, are you okay? You know, and then go take your joy, that kind of thing. But this first time that happened, immediately they just went, I'm gonna fucking murder you. Everyone in the town, like every single person.
And the thing is that dependency never stops.
Yeah, that's it. I ran through a town, and I literally had about 20 people chasing me.
Yep. I had that multiple times.
Yeah, and it's just like, the worst part was, I was like, okay, there's a joy booth there. I'm just going to go, fuck it, I'm going to get some joy. And it was like, no, you've overdosed. I was like, I didn't have any in my system. How have I overdosed?
Yeah.
And they all still want to kill me.
So that's interesting, because there's actually two joy meters, isn't there? There's one that is just literally how much joy are you on now.
Yes.
But there's a bar that goes round that circle that is the overall how much you've induced. And the thing is, there is no way of I think you can, if I remember correctly, you can find drugs that flush it from your system.
Yeah.
But generally speaking, every time you take a joy, even though the joy is reducing, the other bar is increasing. To me, that's two different mechanics that don't work. You can't have something, you have to take that increases that also decreases.
But see,
to me, that's...
But like, even you explaining that right now sounds confusing. Like, and
it is.
That is what this game is in some ways. It just becomes incredibly baffling in terms of its mechanics. Like, I've played about the first maybe 4 hours of it, whatever, and it's a like. Did you guys play it on PC?
PC, we were both
okay,
on,
right. So I've played it on a standard PS4. And no joke, this is where the game should get the title "Wee Ploppy Poo," because this game does not run great on a standard PS4. No,
Okay.
I'm talking like... Okay, so I remember I said this in Slack with you, but the opening cutscene, for example, right? That opening little intro scene that's loading and the music is playing, that to me is so sluggish every time it comes on the screen, and you can't skip it. Audio cuts out. Then the game comes in and there's so many pop-in textures going on. The frame rate is utterly horrendous at times.
Okay.
And this is like the console area of it. Like, when it started, the initial story, I was kind of like, okay, cool, because I knew the concept of it was kind of like a survival game before they put in the story mode. So I was like, okay, now I'm interested, because as I said many times, I'm not really into that survival aspect. When it started, the characters, the voice acting and stuff, pretty cool. Like I was vibing it. I thought I hate having to say BioShock over and over again, but to me, that is the only real element of BioShock that's within this game, is
the story stuff.
The story stuff and kind of maybe some of the colours within the game. That is really all there is to it.
Yeah.
This isn't like the BioShock game that could have been or something. This isn't that case at all, because the gameplay itself, oh my god, like, I'm sorry, but when you're fighting people, it is dog shit. It is so unbelievably stiff, and it just becomes that moment where enemies are jumping at you and you're kind of just like pushing the analog stick all around the place. There's no real skill involved.
So I think it's a stealth game. I think that's the thing.
That's kind of I
think it's more Dishonored than BioShock. I think you are supposed to be in stealth, but the thing I found frustrating is that it kind of breaks one of my own personal rules that winds me up is that it's a certain plants that you can not be seen in.
Mm-hmm.
And yet there are others that you can be seen in, even though you do actually appear to be completely concealed. The AI pathfinding is poor, and the AI in general is poor, but actually that makes it a more fun stealth game, because you can literally just be on the side of them, and they won't notice you.
Yeah.
And I found that actually made it more fun. This is a game with encumbrance. It's very Dishonored, actually, when you think about it.
It is in parts,
budget
definitely.
Dishonored.
Yeah. The inventory management is very, very flooded. It's I don't know. There's
too much.
As you said, Adam, there's just so much going on from the beginning. You kind of don't really know what you're supposed to be doing in the game, or I don't really know what it's trying to be, because so, like, do you know the very beginning of the game where you're just sitting at your type or your newspaper screen thing?
Yeah. Your redactor.
So I'm doing that, okay, and I was just like, cool, whatever. I honestly, no joke here, spent a good solid 10 minutes on that screen, because I thought I was supposed to do something or do this a couple of times before a cutscene happens, but no, you have to do that really dog shit thing where you have to look to the right or the left, and then it'll tell you, oh, press square to stand up, and you're like, oh, for fuck's sake. Like, these small little things that are just within the game that kind of frustrate me. I honestly can't really, like, recommend this game a whole pile. I think they were under pressure after the feedback, and I think they tried to make something of it, obviously, but it's too messy, and it's come out at such a bad time, I feel, because we're coming into such a, like, big busy moment of gaming, and with the likes of like even Dead Cells is out right now and stuff like that. I don't know where this game is going to stand. And they're also charging, I think this is a full price game, and
I think so.
I think it's like, I went into like a local like EB Games here, and it was like $80 for like standard and $100 for deluxe. Like,
wow.
I don't think, like, that's not right for this kind of game. It doesn't feel like that kind of game when
it's actually still not finished. Like, on the PC version, it's still the sandbox mode that still says it's coming soon, doesn't it, Gaz?
Yeah. It's just, I think this is a game that's been released like a year too early. Like,
you say that they took 2 years.
Yeah, and I don't know what they worked on.
The thing is, it's difficult because I sound completely down on it, and the trouble is, the stuff I want to talk about is a spoilery, and I can't talk about it. There are good I do actually enjoy the story, and there's stuff that happens. The trouble is, it happens very late. We're talking, I'd say over 10 hours before you get to some stuff I think's really cool.
That kind of outlines an issue. One of its biggest issues, though, is it's too big. It's too big. It's too long.
Big, yeah.
It's
Way
like by
too
the
long.
time
Yeah.
by the time you hit like 4 or 5 hours, you're kind of like, right, where's the end of this game? And
Yeah.
it's like you're only like halfway through, if that. It's
If that, yeah,
It's
that's
just
it.
like it either needed to be shorter or the
Yeah.
world needed to be smaller.
The world the world should be smaller, man. It's like, because when you get out in the open world area of it, it's kind of really weird. I don't know how I felt about it, because there's some areas that, do you not think it kind of just looks like a Fable game at times? In like,
Well, I mean, it's got problems in that, like, a lot of the faces are just the same.
Yeah.
Like, it reuses too many assets, and like, there's a broken down house that I can explore. Oh, look, there's another broken down house I can explore. Once you get out of that area, it's a brighter, more interesting game. But then they add the joy mechanic, and so what they give with one hand, they take back away with another. You know.
But there's a lot within the open world that they're trying to create, that, like, when you're looting houses and stuff, like 90% of the time you're only going to come out with one item from like 10 chests or drawers that you look through. And some of the, like, the NPCs and stuff, when you walk past them, they're just standing there just doing nothing. They're just like, and I don't really understand what the world is supposed to be, you know, until they see you, they just go frantic and try to attack you. Which is where, when you were saying, Adam, about it trying to be more of a stealth game, I do agree, but stealth is super poor in this as well, because I just feel you're forever getting spotted, no matter what. And I know you can hide in, like, the trees and the bushes, which look so poor when you're doing that as well. Like, it's that kind of, it kind of fizzles away, the trees and stuff, when you're going through it, and it's just a poor looking effect. Like, I don't know, like, this, I don't really know who this game is supposed to be for. I also think, would it have been better if it just stayed solely as a survival game, but just really improved upon that mechanic? Because
Well, they got caught because, like, the overwhelming feedback was, "Oh, what's this shit? We want more of the story that you And it is odd to start a game with such a narrative-heavy and a strong, I would say, narratively strong opening, Gaz.
Yeah, I did enjoy that. Like, even though I'd already seen it before, really.
I mean,
it was still.
I don't know about you, but I enjoyed every cutscene, and I wanted more of it. Almost, I wanted less time between those cutscenes.
Yeah, although some of them. I'm not going to give anything away, but there's a certain character that you meet, like
Male or female?
female.
Sally.
Yes.
Okay.
And the relationship with her, it just didn't seem right to me. Like, the way he reacted to things and that, it just never seemed to make sense. I liked what they were doing, but every time it came to that, I was like, I was pulled out of it, because I was like, why is he reacting like that?
Okay,
Yeah,
I didn't mind that. I will say as well, I wonder if some people will hate it, but I actually really, really like the voice acting.
Yeah, I mean,
for the most part,
I say to you, I didn't like the overuse of the weird. I mean, I called it like the Dick Van Dyke Cockney accent thing that some of them had. It was a bit overused, but there was also quite. I mean, it was a bit Fable as well. Actually, thinking about the voice acting, there was quite a lot of that.
Like, even in there is quite a few Fable moments that I picked up on, even down to, like, very small things, like the text font that they use for, like, when a quest pops up. Like, it's super fantasy looking, and that to me is another, like, very strange thing in its design, where I'm like, what time am I in with this game even? It's just like it is cool,
Yeah.
and like, as I said, the story is probably the strongest section from even the beginning, because as soon as I started moving around, I was kind of like, I don't know, this feels a bit iffy, but I was just pulled in by because the story is kind of crazy. It is kind of crazy, and I wish it could be it could stay that way, but like, you both finished it, and it doesn't sound like it holds up, does it?
No.
I don't hate that I saw that story all the way through. I think it ends up, the story's good enough that I would say it's a decent enough game. But that's because I enjoyed the story. Like the gameplay itself, by the end, I was just... fuck the mechanics. I was just rushing around to just get to the next story moment. I was not interested in any aspect of playing, which is a really weird thing to say, but I did enjoy the story. I thought it was strong enough, but I just found I was ignoring almost all mechanics and borderline just sprinting around, just ignoring guards and shit and just...
No, I did that too. I mean, there was a particular mission towards the end where it's like you're supposed to really be like creeping around, and I was just like, you know what, fuck it, I've got quite a few weapons, so I just started running around battering
and you know
everyone to
you
death.
can just escape anyway.
Yeah, it's just I wanted to like this game. You know,
I think I like it more than you, I would say.
Yeah, it sounds that way, but I mean, I just came away thinking it could have been so much more.
That's true.
Yeah, I'm definitely at the bottom here with regards to the three of us, because I don't know. I just feel like if this game just came out like last month or something, maybe, where we kind of could give it more time. I just think it's just people are going to play this and be like, yeah, cool, and it's just not, in terms of having fun with a game, it's just not fun to play. And that,
I mean, as a rating, if you will, I would say this game's all right. But if you're saying literally, should I get it? No, definitely not, because there are so many games coming.
Exactly. This
is not one you should be spending your money on. This is one that if you are intrigued, it will be cheap enough soon.
Yeah.
And to be honest with you, if you're intrigued, you probably already got the early access version, which will update to the full game. You know, but like as a game, I think it's all right. But as a recommendation, it's like, no, do not spend money on this at the moment, because apart from anything, I finished the game and I'm in the same boat as Gary. We'd both finished the game, and almost it must have done it very close, because Gary said to me, they've just updated it with a 7.6 gigabyte patch, and I finished it. Like,
yeah.
I saw. I think Tech Raptor. Because I was talking to the guy who reviewed it for them. I'd already finished it. Well, we're going to talk about that stuff later. But like, I'd already finished it, and I saw he mentioned it on Twitter, and it's like the game I reviewed is no longer the game you're buying, because an 8 gigabyte update is substantial.
Mm-hmm.
But let's move away from Wee Ploppy Poo to a game I'm hoping Adam Carroll will like, because it's one I've been raving about for a year: Dead Cells.
Dead Cells, yes.
I'm guessing you bought it on Switch.
I bought it on Switch, and
of course,
I was excited for this because Mr. Cook, you built this up. You built the game.
Yeah, I did.
Do you know? You built it right up, and I can report that this game is tremendous.
So I'm right again, you're saying?
You are right again. I don't really like fucking saying that, but you know...
Right again. Yes.
You can't have everything in life, but anyway...
another one up for the Cookster.
Yes. You talk away there yourself. So, Dead Cells. Okay. Where do I begin? I'm going to say straight off that when this game started, when I got control of it and I played and I died... I'm not going to lie and say that like, that was fun, let's do that again. I did get that kind of feeling in my stomach where I was like, back to the beginning. I think that kind of mechanic, if you do that in your game, you need to have a very, very strong fucking like gameplay mechanic going on. Because if it's only average, if it's kind of like it's only okay, you're not going to keep wanting to go back to the start and going over and over again. So my first 2 or 3 runs of Dead Cells, I had that feeling where I was like, because I died not pretty quick, but you know, you're just like, there we go, my fault. And it just does that thing where you become so unbelievably good at the game that like... Each time you're dying, and I know a lot of people probably say the same thing, but each time you're dying, you just get that little bit further. And when you understand that the game is telling you that you have to die, which is so unbelievably interesting, like that you have to die to basically get all these cool like upgrades and perks or whatever, that's super interesting. But my word, does this game get addictive? Like I think every time I died, I just would be out loud going, fuck's sake. And then it would start again, and I just, for 1 second, would go, no, I don't want to. And I'd just already be after pressing play, and I'm going. The gameplay is so crazy tight. Like, it's just outrageous. Like, it has the exact same feeling almost as Mark of the Ninja. Like, when you're playing Mark of the Ninja, it does that whole like fluidity where you are a ninja, and in this you feel like that you're just dropping down on top of enemies. All your timing becomes so good, and that's what I love, that what these kind of games do. They just make your timing so good. The upgrades are just outstanding. Like, every upgrade you get, I feel, is just like, even when because there's some upgrades you'll find and you'll read the description, you kind of go to yourself, I don't think I want that, because I like my setup as it is. I honestly can't recommend enough that I think everyone should just, every upgrade you get, just change it. Just keep changing it, because the game just completely changes. Like, your whole style changes, and it becomes, I don't know, it just becomes so different again. And another tip that I would give, now I know this game is definitely designed for speedruns, and like, when Summer Games Done Quick come around again or whatever like that.
Oh yeah.
Like, I honestly cannot wait to see what people do within this game.
That's going to be insane, isn't
it? We got Celeste there not so long ago, and that was absolutely outstanding. This game is designed for that event, and I do feel that for the first few rounds, if you're going to be new to the game, I do recommend it. Like, just go along, get a feel for it, whatever. But once you understand it, I think the only option to have is just to pretend like you are speedrunning it, because
he's just gonna go.
You just gotta fucking go, because I feel if you do that, you succeed far more. And I've never had that, like because there is a lot of you honestly have to like watch out, because it gets so overwhelming sometimes with enemies. But for some reason, you will get by. You will get by if you just go very fast. One thing I will say that threw me off ever so slightly was the button layout.
Right.
Especially on the attack and the jumping and the rolling and stuff. I don't know what it was, but I think like A is to like roll out of like an enemy's attack or something. Well, on Switch it's A. But I'm so used to the PlayStation that I'm kind of getting that whole like circle being for crouch.
Okay.
So I'm getting that kind of confusion going on, but it's kind of okay now. It's just, it mightn't throw off everyone, but it just did for me at the beginning. I honestly don't know though if I will actually finish this game. Like, I don't know
why.
Because I feel like I feel like I'm doing quite well. But the game...
So have you beaten the first boss yet? The concierge? Have you beaten that boss?
Yes.
Right. Okay, so the first time you faced him, I'm going to say you died.
Oh, fuck it, too right.
Second time, probably died.
Fucking too right.
And then eventually you beat him, and you're like, oh my god, look at all this loot and blueprints and stuff and amulet that's just spewing out of him. Oh my god, this is an amazing feeling, right?
Yeah.
And then you carried on, and I can't think what's after that. I forget the level, but you get to the next level, and you're like, wow, these enemies are fucking tough, right?
Yeah.
And you might get through that first area, but then you die to the next area. Have you met the second boss yet in the clock tower?
Not yet.
But I bet you but that's the thing. I bet when you so you died eventually and you got back on a run, and I bet you beat the boss first time. The first time. Right.
Yeah.
So once you've got it, you've sussed him. Then you'll get to the clock tower, and that boss is all about speed, and he's quick, and you'll get, like, first time I think I ever did him, I was like, oh man, I was less than an inch from killing him, and I was like, you motherfucker, I will get you next time. But also you're finding like a new skill. I'm trying to think which one it is you find in that area. I can't think which one it is, but it doesn't matter. But then eventually you'll be able to beat him, and then you'll be able to beat them both. And so there's something about, I think it's one of the best designed games I've played ever, because the fact is, every time you die, you'll go again, or you might go, that was a long run, I'll go again tomorrow, I'll go again later. But you'll go again and you'll get just that touch further, or you'll mess it up completely and die really early because you make a stupid mistake. But you'll always get that little bit further.
Yeah.
And that's it. You might not finish it this week, but I think if you enjoy it enough, and I think the combat, like you mentioned, the fact you can basically roll out of any animation, that it makes the game so malleable. I think eventually you will, if you want to finish it, you will. It's essentially like Bloodborne or Dark Souls. If you master it as you play it.
Yeah, it's teaching you as you go, because like, it's true, because when I first started, as I said, I died like a good few times at the beginning.
Yeah.
And now that first initial 2 or 3 areas are absolutely nothing to me. Like, that's where...
So those first areas, what you'll find, you may have already got to this point, what you'll find is because they're just nothing to you, you rush them. And the reason you rush them is because in them first 3 areas, you can get to the timed doors. Mm-hmm. And those timed doors are worth getting to because they give you such huge rewards.
Yeah.
So you approach them in different ways. Like I would recommend to anyone who has done the first boss, in the first area, make sure you go the sewers route.
Yeah.
Have you seen that? Because that's where you'll unlock... That's where the Metroidvania stuff comes in, because there are skills you unlock that let you...
Like there's certain vines and stuff.
The vine thing.
Yeah.
If you go the sewers route, you'll find the next... It's not a vine, but the next thing that lets you do similar to what the vine does. Have you found that yet or not?
Yes, I have.
Okay, but then there's more than that. Like there's areas in this game that are tough as balls.
Man, as you're saying there, the sewers area is the way to go, because the other area has like that spinning blade shit going on, and that's where like the kind of platforming situation comes in, and because it does that thing where you're like, yes, there's speed involved, but it's not just constant going and slashing. You will get to an area you have to dodge the spinning blades, and I'm always super bad at it, and like those areas,
right.
But like it's just like, I don't know, it just does so much, and it's just an amazing game. It's just like it's super addictive and incredibly rewarding. And all the weapons, like every weapon you do get or any perk you get, it's just amazing. You just feel like that was so worth it. That run was so... Like, when I did a run last night, and it was like my final run before I went to bed or whatever, and I said, I'll just do one more. And I'm so happy I did it, because there was like this new kind of thing went on. Like, because the levels slightly change a small bit every time you start. And like, you'll find that some enemies that you meet later on are also at the beginning. And...
Right.
That's quite a surprise. Like, there'll be a lot of the enemies with the shields and stuff. Like, you don't meet them straight away when you first start the game. You just meet the really green, weird looking guys.
The green and the purple and the arrow guy.
Yeah. But like, it just, it's just a superb game, and like, everyone should play it. Like, honestly, I got it on Switch. If you get it on PS4, I imagine it's the exact same and everything like that. But yeah, Dead Cells is like an absolute blinder. And to be honest, I gotta say, right, with Dead Cells now being there, I still have Salt and Sanctuary to get and everything. But indie games are getting, like, they are just so fucking incredible. Like, every fucking year they come out, there's just more and more indie games nearly overtaking the AAAs. Like, we've had Celeste and we've had like Dead Cells like come out. The Salt and Sanctuary's being released. I know some of the, like, Dead Cells came out last year, I think, on PC, was it?
Well, early access it was.
Okay. But like, these games are so goddamn cheap, and they're offering so much quality. Now, I know $25 isn't cheap to some people, but look, if you're going to pay, like, not to shit all over Wee Ploppy Poo again, but like, that's going for $70, and like something like Dead Cells going for 25. Like, it's a no-brainer, really, do you know, in terms of like what you think you should try. Yeah, I just can't wait to see speedrunners play this game. I think it's going to... Because, I just want to quickly say, when you do actually pretend to speedrun yourself in the game, and you get quite far, my God, do you feel so good. Like, you feel like you've you feel like John Wick or something. You've just like just done so much amazing shit just in that one burst. Yeah, incredible game. Highly recommended.
Gary, have you bought it yet, or are you being tempted, or what?
No, I definitely want it, but I think I'm going to have to wait for payday for me to be able to grab this one. But yeah, I mean, you've been talking about it for ages, and then it's come out, and everyone else is saying how good it is. And it's just like, it needs to be played at some point.
It's going to be in the end of year discussion, unless for me unless all of a sudden like this unless like essentially Red Dead, Tomb Raider, Spider-Man, Forza, unless every one of them is just like 9.5s or 10s out of 10s, it's going to be in that conversation. And I'm going to be pushing for it because I love it, but like hopefully others do too. And it seems that generally reception is it's not mixed. Let's put it that way.
Can I quick before we just move on, because I know we're on about it a bit, but if you were to pick a kind of a thing you don't enjoy as much about it, Adam, what would you say?
Dead Cells?
Yeah.
A thing I don't like about it.
Like something that you're not a fan of. Because I'm going to say straight out, I find it quite, like, aside from the constant starting over again, but once I just leave that area, I don't really care because the gameplay is so goddamn fun. I just don't think about that annoyance anymore. But that's, to me, the kind of only real...
I suppose the only thing listen, I love this game. I think some people might find the story a bit weird because, like, it's... The guy's oddly flippant about... When he talks to people, he's thumbs up and shit. But I actually think that works. That levity's it's funny, it's silly, and I quite like that in there. I guess for me, the only thing I'm not a fan of is the daily challenges because I haven't actually had a chance to play it since it was officially out. But before it was out, and this was the same on all platforms, so I suspect this is a thing with the daily challenges. You kind of have to run them 4 times to get a reward for them. And I feel like that's not quite the point of a daily challenge. I feel like the point of a daily challenge is you build it up, you play through it and you get a reward. And then if you want to, say, top a leaderboard, you keep running it. But you shouldn't have to keep running it just to get a reward. That's the only thing I don't like. But they might have changed that. And it sounds like they could change it. It's a daily thing. But no, it's otherwise, this is kind of one of those games where it feels like it was designed for me, So there's not a lot about it I don't like.
Also, very quickly, I just want to say that I kind of felt personally that if you ever looked at the character model of this guy in Dead Cells, he kind of slightly looks like Aladdin from the Aladdin game on Sega Genesis.
I see it.
It's kind of like a modernised version or futuristic version of him. But yeah, man, I'm over the moon about this game. I'm like, fair play on like constantly pushing it so much because...
Well, it's one of those I just feel like it deserves more love because it's so meticulously designed. Like that.
It is.
We've said this. I won't go over it again. But yeah, it's a special game, I think.
Yeah, and you did say last week as well that you hope it doesn't get lost in the thing. I don't think it really is. I just think people are just kind of we're hitting that area where I think people know it exists, but they're just like,
they definitely know it exists now.
Yeah,
they definitely know it exists now, and we'll get to that. But before we get to the news, I just want to briefly mention PES 2019's demo. It's you can't really judge a game based on the demo. Often the demo is older code, and it is a game where they are fine-tuning it until the last moments. But I think I get the feeling this is pretty much where it's going to be at, and I think this year it's kind of if I say evolution, not revolution, it sounds like I'm doing it down. But there's some stuff about PES 2019 that because I don't like playing football game demos. I like to play them just to be like, okay, this seems really good or this seems really bad, and then I'm like, okay, I don't want it now until I can play it all the way. I want to play every part of it. I want to delve in. I want to dive into this for weeks on end and just But I feel like they've taken criticism from the last game on board. I feel like the referees are far stricter because in PES 2018 you could just kill people and the ref would barely notice it. I feel like the nets are improved. I feel like there's a slightly slower play, but also a reward for playing like with passing. I feel like there's a real rewarding aspect that it feels like you on sort of standard difficulty. It feels like you have to work for your goals. Like you have to. The defensive AI is better, is what I'm saying. I feel like there's also more physicality. Like I feel like players will fight for the ball, and yeah, I'll be honest, there's not much I don't like about this demo, but I'm cautious because it's not the final game. There you go. That's that little PES
very
minute,
quickly. Do you think there'll ever be a point where either a PES or a FIFA will come out and that then everyone is just like, that is simply the best football game of all time. It can never be topped. It can never be improved. Because
no.
Like, I'm just like going from PES 2017. I remember when that came out, people were losing their minds at how good it was and how tight it was and everything. And I always feel sometimes when they take steps back in a football game, it's very unusual. And I'm always wondering, like, what it is that they're doing. Why are they doing that? Do you know? Why can't they just build?
I mean, it's difficult because there's two very popular. Well, I say very popular. PES is very popular in its community. FIFA is globally, everyone buys FIFA. We know the sales for FIFA. We know PES can't match FIFA. I think PES are trying to be smart. They're getting more licenses than ever. I think if you asked anyone at that company and they could openly and honestly say the truth to the question is, will you ever be able to match FIFA? Of course they won't. Like, you don't need to ask that question. Of course they won't. I have my own opinions about why that is. I believe it's about money. I believe, and it's not a case of Konami not ponying up the cash. I believe it's a case of EA locking things down. I can't prove that. That's my personal opinion, not the opinion of God is a Geek, not the opinion of anyone but me. I just think that was kind of proven this year when Dortmund, who were a big sort of component of PES that everyone loved, that went to FIFA. To me, that was FIFA going, fuck you, we're having them, you're not. I don't like that. I think that's bad. I think it's bad for both players of both games, because it should also, ultimately the football game should be about which game you prefer playing, and that's why I play PES. I think FIFA's very good. I just feel like there's the one thing about PES that I feel is consistently better is that when you hit a shot in PES, it feels like football. Now, I won't go into massive detail about this. I've played football all my life. I'm all right. I'm not a bad footballer. I've always been a good passer of the ball. I now coach football in my spare time for kids, and we've had good success. We've won a tournament recently, so we're not crap. But I feel like when it comes to what you want in a football game, I don't want absolute realism, because that would be boring to play as a video game. I don't want... Do you know what I mean? I don't want an absolute recreation of the sport. I want a close approximation.
No, definitely. That's
within a game. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because I'm even saying, like, any PES I've ever, like, the last... Like, I remember I bought PES 2017. Like, I've said that a couple of times on
here. Right,
like,
yeah, you have, yeah.
I'm not even a football fan, and I bought that because the gameplay felt so much fun, and, like, it did that whole thing where you can get, like, insane... You can get crazy cool goals, like, in PES.
So that's the thing, right? When you're watching football... Okay, real football, you're watching it on Sky, you're watching BC Sport, wherever you're watching it on, you see a player like a De Bruyne, or I don't know, anyone who hits long shots and can smash them. You see him wind up and you hit it, and you kind of, as a massive football fan, you almost hold your breath because you're like, fucking hell, that could be, and then it just it's in the back of the net. And if you're a fan of the team, you're up, and you're like, yes. PES replicates that. When you hit that ball and you hit that screamer, you're off your seat. That's important because that is such it's a monumental moment in a match. I always feel with FIFA that even although it's got the screamers, the actual impact of you doing it never quite feels strong. It feels a bit weak, whereas in PES, you hit that ball, you fucking welly that ball, and I think that's an important thing. And I think PES also feels less on rails to FIFA. As I said, they're both good games. I prefer PES currently. This year, who knows? I haven't played FIFA in any, not any aspect of FIFA 19 yet. I look forward to doing so.
Yeah.
But yeah, there you go. There's my PES minute. Let's get on to news, and I'm going to ask you two if you want to get some of the quick stuff out the way, or you just want to get into the biggest story that's happened.
I think get the biggest thing out of the way, because I feel it's going to be a bit... There's going to be stuff said, and I think we need some light-hearted stuff at the end.
Okay. So, Gary, Adam, had you this time last week... I know, were you on the pod last week, Adam? You weren't, were you?
I wasn't last week, no.
No, okay. But regardless, this time last week, had you heard the name Philip Musin? Musin, I'm going to say. Yeah. Philip Musin. Had you heard that name ever, honestly?
Nope. Yes, I did, because I actually listen to NBC regularly.
Okay. So. Tell our listeners what that is, because IGN's Nintendo podcast, right?
Yeah, it's a Nintendo voice chat. It's IGN's Nintendo podcast. It was hosted by Jose Otero, I think, at first, and then he went off, and now is it Philip Munson? Is that how I pronounce it?
Philip Munson, yeah.
He took over, and I'll be honest, I like, as a host on a podcast for IGN, fine. Like, it was totally like, you know, they can't break any rules. They can't
look, hey, we're not here. We're not going to review IGN. Let's not get into that.
Yeah.
So I do want to preface this by saying, if you're a regular listener, you know we record a little bit ahead of the time you hear that. That's because we give this to our Patreons early. $1 a month, you get the podcast a couple of days, sometimes 3 or 4 days early. So that's why in fact, I'm going to say right now, there will be developments on this story after we've finished and you've heard this. It will be out of date, but we're going to talk about it anyway. So the review embargo for Dead Cells was Monday, August the 6th at 5 p.m. UK time. When that went up, like God is a Geek, like I think Video Gamer, like GameSpot, IGN had a review. Fair enough. 9.1 I think they gave it, written by Philip Musin. Okay. I saw this on Reddit. I saw a post by a YouTuber. I've lost where I've wrote his name down. The YouTuber has disappeared. Give me 2 seconds. Fuck. But basically, on Reddit, a chap who I'm desperately trying to find the name of. Has anyone got the name of the YouTube channel? Because I have completely lost where I wrote this down.
I cannot remember what it is. Let's have a look.
Fuck's sake.
Boomstick
keep
Gaming.
Talking.
Boomstick Gaming. So the chap behind Boomstick Gaming. But I saw this from Reddit. Basically said, IGN copied my Dead Cells review. What do I do? So he explained that, because the one thing I was a bit confused about is it appears his review went up before embargo. So but that's not really relevant. I mean, that happens, and also YouTubers are not under the same, things that someone writing a review for an outlet is. So he put up a video, and what he did is he said he didn't really know what to do because this is weird, but basically it appears IGN have just nicked my review, and he starts going through the review piece by piece, like comparing. And at first, I think everyone is going to be in the same boat. You're like, yeah, it's pretty similar, but not the same. By the end of the video, you're like, oh fuck, no, he just ripped this off. He just ripped this fucker off, like, completely. So yeah, fast forward, IGN take the review down. They say they're investigating. They investigate. They come to the conclusion we all came to. He's plagiarised it. They sack Philippe. And I will say IGN, I think, reacted and responded in the way you would hope an organisation the size of IGN would. But regardless, I think the people involved did a really good job. And I'm just going to say right here, not that I think any of our listeners would, IGN deserve no hate. None at all. They have done everything. There is no way they could have really policed this. There's no way they could have... this isn't... He didn't copy someone else's written review a week after embargo. He's nicked the script someone else is reading over a video. He's had to copy it down. IGN have done everything they could do. Kind of story put to bed, do you think, at that point? The guy's never getting employed again. Kind of done.
Yeah. That should have kind of been it.
Yeah.
But it's just not.
No, because Philip has put up a video. I found that video remarkable because there's no point in the video title it says my apology, my response. Like, there's no point even in the title that he actually says sorry. It's my response. And I'm going to say right here, your response should have been just to fucking shut up. Just to be quiet. Pray to God that somehow you get work again. Because, nah. Anyway, in the video, he calls out... he calls out like Jason Schreier from Kotaku.
Well, you just got to say he calls out, and that's fucking it. Like,
he calls out at someone, and you're just like, no, you can't do that.
But the reason I say specifically the fact he called out Jason Schreier is there are some journalists who I think absolutely deserve the right to say I am a video games journalist. I would not call myself a video games journalist. At absolute best, and this is not something I'm comfortable saying, I will consider myself, us guys, maybe video games industry personalities. That's the best I could maybe video game critic I'd be comfortable with. I would not call Adam Cook a video games journalist. I don't do journalism. I'm a critic. I do front-facing content for publications where it's my opinion, blah blah blah. I wouldn't say I'm not what I would think of as journalism. Okay, and I'm not saying people who like us who call themselves journalists are wrong. I'm just saying I'm personally not comfortable calling myself a journalist because there are people like Jason Schreier out there. actually doing what I consider journalism. So to call him out, you're out of your fucking mind. You're out of your mind to call that man out when that man goes deep into investigations, researches his shit, and the stuff that he's published on Kotaku is incredibly well. Remember the Star Wars stuff? Not that long ago? The Mass Effect stuff?
Yeah.
That guy is a journalist, right? You can keep looking, Kotaku, he says in the video. And please let me know if you find anything. Which, by the way, their news editor Jason Schreier tried to imply that my FIFA 18 review was also inauthentic by claiming that I copied it from Nintendo Life. And that's just so not the case. Maybe he was implying that if you have similarly opinionated reviews and you're just plagiarising. Or... Jesus.
This is the worst part.
Or maybe he's just trying to get as many clicks off my name right now as possible. Or maybe he just likes kicking people when they're down. I don't know. Check it out for yourselves and you be the judge. Mate, who do you think you are? Like...
And since then, the video has been removed.
And people have found other stuff, allegedly, that I haven't had a chance to deep dive into it, but like there's Engadget stuff that's similar, Nintendo Life. I think there's another one. There is something else in his video that I absolutely take a strong exception to, like it really annoyed me. He starts off early on, he says something like, I can't find the direct quote, where he says, I basically did the same thing that all people do when they're doing a game.
Yeah.
Oh, no, you don't. No, absolutely not. No.
He says it's no different. Not. It's no different to what other employees do, or something like that when it comes to reviewing. Something along that. Like,
fuck off.
Yeah, that really kicked off for people, because there was friends of his online, like saying, "Dude, I've been by your side. Like, this is fucking wrong. You need to take this video down." Like, there is people who said, like, "I've been with you in the IGN office. Like, you cannot be saying this shit. Like, I'm a friend of yours. Take it as a friend." Thing. Like, it's fucking bad. And yes, like, when you keep shining light on it, it'll keep generating stuff, whatever. But like, this dude, straight up, like, the way I look at it is, it's just, you can't ignore it. You can't, like, you can, but as the story developed and that video came out, and then you wanted to see the response of that video, like, because he doesn't once admit it. Like, throughout the entire video, he does not once say, "I was wrong, I did do this, I was in this situation." Even if he, like...
So I want to get into that, actually, Ad, but before we do, I just want to quickly say, I can't speak for everyone in the industry, but I have met and spoke to many of them over the nearly 10 years I've been doing this. I would never read the review of a game I was reviewing. Now,
Never.
It just happens that we're in quite a good position that normally we're under embargo, so there are no reviews of things we are reviewing. Like, right now, I'm not reviewing it, but I will be talking about an indie game that if I was reviewing, I couldn't look at someone else's review. We're under embargo. Gary is... I don't... It's not a problem to say you are playing and going to review the new F1 game. Again, under embargo. However, not always the case. You should... researching a game for your review is not looking at what other people think of it. It's just not.
No,
like,
it's not even close to that.
Like, I was reviewing We Happy Few for a different publication because I work freelance. Gary and I barely spoke about the game for that reason. It's certainly got as a geek policy that if people on staff are playing the same game, I would rather you didn't even really talk about it, other than if someone says what, or someone say... So, like, when Spider-Man is being reviewed, I'm sure people will be excited. Is the game any good? Like, Adam, you will probably say to on Slack, like, is it any good? But you're not reviewing it. That's the different situation.
Yeah.
If you're reviewing it, you just don't talk about the game you're playing. Like, if you're stuck on it, you go back to the developer. You go and say to the publisher, look, there's this puzzle. That is this fucked? You know, is this bugged? There's just... there's no point that you sit down and go, oh, I'm going to have to write my own critical piece on this game. What does everyone else think of it? Now, I actually genuinely believe even if I did that, I've got strong enough convictions in my own opinion that it wouldn't colour my opinion, but I wouldn't even risk it because you don't know what seeps in subconsciously.
Exactly. Yeah.
Like, you know, Adam, you know, you're a musician.
Yeah.
Have you ever had that moment where 6 years after a song you wrote, you hear something and you're like, that sounds like my song. Oh shit. And it's not, oh, they ripped me off, because how could they? but somewhere subconsciously that melody has sucked into your brain and you've reproduced a version of it accidentally as an original composition, and it's still an original composition. But that's why you get these situations. Like recently, there was one with Ed Sheeran, wasn't there? Where I forget who it was.
Yeah. There's so
Let's
much.
Get It On. It's Let's Get It On, and Thinking Out Loud. Even if that's true, which I don't think it is, it's subconscious. He's not sat down and gone, I'm going to rip this off. It's history. But you don't. That's why you kind of. Like, I don't even like talking to other journalists, like, who are under embargo. Like, there was a game, I'm not going to mention it because I don't want to throw people on the bus, where there's Facebook groups and shit, like, for UK journalists, and I was invited, and I would remove myself from them because I don't want. It's almost cross-contamination, you know what I mean? I'm happy to talk about a game like we would on a podcast. That's work, but I don't want to discuss opinions with other people too often because of that subconscious thing. And like that, you know, again, if you do that, I'm not judging you, but the fact he's suggesting basically researching by watching YouTubers' opinions is regular, absolutely not. Absolutely not.
Like, I personally, when I saw that, because with regards to music, it happens a lot, right?
Yeah.
It probably happens quite a bit in this area as well. But I find the whole, like, you're writing your opinion, but now you're copying someone else's opinion. Like, that's just bizarre. But to me personally, I haven't seen many people say this from the story, but I feel like, look, this isn't just my personal opinion, but has he just been doing this because it's just a quicker way to get a review done and get your money? And then, then you can spend more of your personal time.
He's a star. He was the Nintendo editor. So this is the thing I've struggled with. I've been trying to understand why, because he wrote for IGN, right? The likelihood that the YouTuber you're pinching the words from will see it is very high. If someone's into games that much, they've got their own YouTube channel, they're almost certainly going to be aware of IGN, and after it's all gone, everyone's gone live, they're going to click, like everyone does, you click around, oh, what did they think? Oh, I see, they agreed with me, oh, they did. He's going to click it, he's going to see it. It's IGN, it's the second biggest website in the world for games. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's going to see it. He's going to see it. I'm just trying to understand. I want to understand why. You know, did he panic? Did his editor give him a deadline he couldn't hit and he was afraid to say it? But I just don't.
No fucking way, man.
But that doesn't work for me because we were in the same situation. Dead Cells code was super early, like 3 weeks before embargo. Did he panic that he was no good at the game and he couldn't beat it or couldn't get far enough to I just don't understand any of this.
That's what's funny, like because you said that exact same thing to me recently, and I was like, it can't be panic and it can't be like the time, whatever. Because
I don't think so.
It's not like he was given Red Dead 2 and then he had 5 days to play and write a review on it. He was playing Dead Cells, and it's like, it's funny because it's a game that once you die, you go back to the start and you keep going. So you can kind of get an opinion pretty. And
we had Xbox, PS4, and Switch code all on the same day, about 3 weeks, maybe more, in fact, before embargo. And I don't understand it. Now this has happened to God is a Geek before. We have had our reviews plagiarised. It's happened definitely twice, possibly 3 times. I'm not going to name the people who did it. We didn't make it. The first time it was basically an email with a cease and desist. Look, you have essentially stolen copywritten material. It's our story that we've run. You can't just take our review and repost it. No, it did happen 3 times. The second time it happens, what people were doing is they were going and taking, say, a couple of paragraphs from God is a Geek, a couple from IGN, a couple from someone, you know, like I think Six Axis was one of them. They basically took a bit of each person's review and turned it into a review on their site. So that was an email. No, that time we had to reach out via Twitter and say, listen, you're ignoring our emails, you're ignoring every contact. You will be hearing from our lawyers if you do not take down our content that you have basically plagiarised. The third time, it was a site that is more well known than it should be. And again, I personally emailed their editor, and he kind of didn't believe me. And it's like, and he came back with like, well, when was the review published? And I was like, mate, before you even get down this route, this isn't exactly what I said, but I'm paraphrasing. Let's not fuck around here. I personally edited this review when it was sent in by our writer. it hit the embargo. There's no possible way we could have stolen from you, because the date on yours is 1 week later, and I know ours went up on embargo because I hit the fucking scheduling button. And he was like very quickly like, oh shit, and then he went back and checked through, and he actually came back to me and goes, oh, are any more of them? Are any more of this person's reviews like that? And I was a bit curt, and I said, like, it's not my job to do this, my friend. Like, your guy has plagiarized our work. It is your job to go and check your writer, not mine. And like, he went away, and that guy got booted out. And it does happen. It happens a lot less because people notice this stuff. Like, right now, the guy has taken down this video. Now, the problem I have with all of this, like the whole thing, what he did is shitty. Real shitty. Like, because people keep saying this guy has a small YouTube channel. I think modest is a polite way of saying it, because I think it was like 12,000 subscribers when I looked at it. So, like, you know, he's not small, but he's modest. He's not making a living off of it.
It's 12,000 people.
Okay, yeah, that's modest, I would say. So it's a really shitty thing to do. The thing is, IGN did deal with this. The problem I got a little bit is with this is that people keep sharing his videos and shit when he comes up with a new thing. I think, number one, this guy never works again. He never gets work, and he's been tarred with a brush you can never clean off, like that. You just can't shake this. So he never gets work again. That means he kind of goes away if we stop giving him the spotlight.
Yeah.
If we stop sharing his apology videos, if we stop commenting how shitty he's being, he kind of goes away.
Well, yes and no. Like, because there is a sense of, like, you can't just ignore it, because there are some people out there who will feel genuinely very upset about this, which there is. There is a lot of IGN employees, I imagine, who are very upset about him tarnishing the company and the work that some others actually fucking do. And I think to them, they can't ignore it, because they need to make sure that this guy doesn't get another fucking chance in the games industry. And that's fair game, because, like, sometimes you have to cut out the fluff in every industry. You have to get rid of these people that are, unfortunately, they're stopping the actual working people from getting somewhere. And I think that is why it's constantly being discussed and stuff. And if you think about it, if we didn't discuss it and call him out and say, fuck this, why did you do this, the video isn't honest, he wouldn't have taken down the video. And now that he has taken down the video, it just shows again what kind of person he actually is.
But I only saw that apology. Well, I keep saying apology video. It isn't an apology video. I only saw his video, response video, because people tweeted about it.
Oh, well, yeah, but, like...
And he monetized that video, so they shared it, I clicked it, he's earning money off us now. I don't know, it's a difficult thing, because he shouldn't get away with it, but he hasn't got away with it, he's been sacked.
Yeah, but you're not going to watch this video, do you know what I mean? And
so I am. Now I've got to the point where this guy is nothing, he does not have a bearing on my life. He is from my personal opinion, is that he seems like a dishonest chap, a disingenuous chap, and the fact he tried to monetize on again, inverted commas, apology video, I'm not going to click a video he's done again.
No,
sorry,
definitely.
But that is why, you know.
But that is why, like, I think 99.9% of people will agree with you there now after his video that has been released, because I think anything else that comes out now regarding the games industry, people aren't going to look at. They're not going to give a shit, because it's like, sorry fella, listen, all you had to do was just come out, even with a video or a statement, and just say, I am so sorry to everyone that's let me down, or that I've let down. I fully take responsibility for what I have done. I promise I'll prove that I'm good at my job. I'll win your love back. See you soon, hopefully. Something along that lines. And then just fuck off, disappear for a while, slowly build it up, work hard, and then you can probably get a second chance. Because I think people do deserve second chances. But the thing is, he was like a guy throwing his toys out of the fucking pram. Yeah. And if he's in the video calling out other people, and then it's full blown like, dude, you're once again lying, and this time we can see you actually saying it, and now you've been caught out with another review. Like, it makes no fucking sense. And now it's official, like, that dude probably will not get into the industry of games. He should probably just go away and do something else now, because who's going to honestly take him on? Like, everyone now knows this guy's name. And that's what happens. Like, I know it's bad to be repeating it, but look, he dug the hole and he dug it very fucking deep.
Yeah. And the issues I have, I mean, like, there's the one issue that always bugs me with these things, and it's not really got anything to do with him, is it's when there are people that have targeted his family.
Yeah.
And it's just like, that shit, it's like, no, just don't fucking do that. They've got
Is that
nothing to do
definitely
with
happening?
That
is he saying
correct,
it's
Adam
happening?
Cook, thank you.
Yeah, that is a thing, I suppose we don't know for certain. But
I mean,
if
I would
that has
believe
happened,
it. I would
then
believe
no.
it because it's the internet and I've seen it.
Yeah.
But is he trying to be a victim when
Maybe,
he isn't the victim?
yeah. But
Because
so
that's the other thing. If we don't stop keeping on at him, because he's had his comeuppance is he's fired and no one will touch him. If we keep on at him, we're giving him the opportunity to play the victim.
Yeah. That's it. I mean, all he had to do was, like Adam just said, is he should have just issued a statement. He could have done it on Twitter, for fuck's sake.
Yeah, he could. I'm so sorry.
But the worst thing is the fact that he's gone, no, I'm going to do a video because then I can make some money off it.
Yeah.
Because he knows people will click on that. And then made it worse by actually being a complete cunt about it. And it's just, that's exactly what he's done. And that's why you should... I mean, I hate doing the thing, because I'm kind of targeting him myself here, but the dude shouldn't get a fucking job in this industry again.
No, not really.
No.
I mean, and like, I said this, and I know you guys will agree with me because you both work for God is a Geek, but sometimes I wish as much energy was expended promoting places like God is a Geek who try and do things the right way. Like, he did what he did. He was fired. In an era that I grew up in, that was the end of it. You do the crime, you go to prison. I've been in a position where I fired someone because they had their hand in the till. I called that person to the office. I showed them the camera footage and said, "I'm sorry, and they cried, and then they went because they were there. There it was. The evidence was there. That's it. Never saw them again. I hope they had a good life. I hope they learned a lesson. I think everyone deserves a second chance, like you said, Adam. But that's not the way it works nowadays, and it makes me want to not be involved in social media.
No, completely. But my final thing that I'd want to say about this is that, like, I do hope that this story as such really, really fucking hits people who are high in the industry and realise that people, like all you lot and stuff, spending countless hours writing, trying to create original content, even down to, like, the guy in Boomstick. Like, these people, like... There's good people out there and they're genuinely working hard, and I really hope that this story makes it known to the bigger people that they should probably...
Mate, yeah. I spent 4 hours on my Saturday afternoon playing around with upcoming, that's making it sound like it's happening soon, a redesign of godisageek.com, and at points I wanted to just throw my computer into the rain. It was like I fucking trying, you know what I mean? So like, there are lots of people, and I'm not playing the hero card or the martyr. I know so many people. I'm going to say it. Colin Mahern from videogamer.com. That bloke works fucking hard, really hard, too hard. I would actually say way too hard. There are people like him, like me, like you two, all over the industry. I hope there's not a single one of our listeners that goes, well, they're all like that, because it's just not true. It's just not true. Yeah. Let's move on. Let's move on to Red Dead Redemption 2, because as one of the people moaning, we haven't seen gameplay yet, we have now.
Yeah.
And I believe the term to be used is just simply woof, isn't it? You don't have to be excited by it, but you have to be blind if you don't think that looks good.
I do have issues, though.
Of course you do, Gary.
Honestly, I watched the footage. I watched like the 4K footage they released as well.
I wasn't expecting 6 minutes, actually, by the way.
No, and it's only part 1 as well. Yeah. There's going to be more. So I mean, I'm obviously not gonna shit on it. I'm not that stupid. But I am worried about the whole camp thing.
Stuff.
It felt very much like, here's the Sims version of.
Yeah,
I'm a bit worried about that. But the rest, I mean, it looks great. I mean, the animation and stuff is stunning.
I like the look of the new Deadeye stuff.
Yeah.
Well, what we saw of it, I think they're going to go into that more, aren't they?
Yeah, but I mean, it was little things like when he was using like the handgun and he just quickly switched to his shotgun or rifle, whatever it was, and it's just like that the animation there was so smooth and it looks amazing.
It looks
the horse
crazy
especially.
Have you seen someone zoomed in? Oh God, I'm trying to think. I saw this tweet today. I should have saved it. What game was it in reference to? I can't remember what game it was in reference to, but it was a game that it was Mass Effect Andromeda. I remembered it now. Someone zoomed in on the horse, and you can see a pair of bollocks swinging there. And someone said, Rockstar spent more time modelling the horse's bollocks than EA allowed the developers to spend modelling the Andromeda's faces. It's like, I think it goes without saying we're all impressed by what we saw. We know it's running on a PS4 Pro. Do you think there's any chance this doesn't win Game of the Year for us, at least? Do you think... I know there's been some stellar games. We know Spider-Man's still to come, but do you think there's any chance this doesn't win Game of the Year?
Like, I do think there's always that chance.
I think it's only if the story's shit. I think the gameplay is going to be GTA, but, Red Dead again.
What if they fuck up the online or something like that? There's always the chance
but I don't think we're a site that is into online as much as we're into single-player stories. And Red Dead Redemption 1, the online was weird, but I still think it's the best game of last gen.
Oh, the online of that game was so much fun. When you played the free roam stuff. Playing with a few friends, I had some of the biggest laughs I've had in games. I
can't remember much about it. I just think, unless they bollocks up the story, I think it's Game of the Year. I don't know that I want to admit that this early, because it might not be, because I still really love God of War and Celeste and Dead Cells, and I think there are other games on the horizon, Gary, that will push in some people's books.
But I do think
We Ploppy Poo, that's up there.
As good as we all know this is probably going to be, I think it's got a lot to live up to against God of War. God of War was so good.
Wow.
I'm not sure.
You're right, it was.
And if we're talking story as well, I think God of War is a tough one to beat, because that was so well done.
I listened to a spoiler cast on God of War recently, and it made me want to go and play it again. It made me want to go and do the 100%, actually. I just... there's so much about that game I love, and I think it's one of those that come out so early in the year. I think by the end of the year, we'll be like, oh, yeah, no, it was amazing, but, what about this? But I think it's almost worth starting to put together a crib sheet of the best moments, if you know what I mean, because, some of that game... Oh, what a game that is. I don't know,
One thing I just want to say about Red Dead is that, when the gameplay trailer came up, because this is a very similar style of trailer that we got for GTA 5, where the woman's narrating over it and stuff.
It's the same woman, I think.
Yeah, I think it is. It's kind of like I sat down and I said, I'll wait now till I get home and I'll watch it. And it's kind of just what I expected. And that's not a bad thing at all. It's just what I expected. I was like, yeah, there it is. It looks
It's
superb.
better looking than I was expecting.
I gotta be honest, there is the thing that got me the most. There's some moments where he's just walking through the forest, and the lighting and stuff is just
very Horizon Zero Dawn.
Yeah, but it's tremendous. Yeah. And even down to there's some areas where he goes into the towns, and just how the kind of the road is laid out. It's not just a standard straight road that loops around. It's all kind of jaggedy, and there's potholes and stuff everywhere. It's kind of interesting. I wonder how much detail, if you're in a wagon or whatever, will the wagon, go into a pothole and bounce up and stuff
I bet
like
it does.
I think this game is going to be incredible. If I am going to say one thing, though, is that I don't think it's going to I think we're going to be this was amazing, it was such a good game, but I really don't know how far they can go to make us turn around and be holy fucking shit. Like how we did with God of War.
Yeah.
God of War was such a goddamn surprise. When we first saw the gameplay, we were like, holy shit. And then we played it, we were like, the story, everything. It was just an amazing 10 out of 10 game. Red Dead is probably going to be that.
It is, yeah.
It's probably just going to be Red Dead, and it's going to be damn good. But saying that, I remember when the first Red Dead came out, I heard more people say that they weren't as into it as say something like Grand Theft Auto. It is not. It mightn't it will do very fucking well. There's no denying that.
I wonder if they'll send review copies out. They did, they have done with GTA 5, but I just want, if ever there's a game where they're like, yeah, we don't need you. This, it's I will say the thing I hope that they improve is the story. Now, I enjoyed the story of Red Dead, However, there's one scene in that game that I always felt ruined it, and it's when you go over to Mexico and there's a sex scene. I feel like Red Dead has the opportunity to be, because it's not the kind of mad shit you have in GTA doesn't quite happen in Red Dead. It is a more straight-faced,
what I mean.
And I hope they kind of do that narratively, because there are elements of Red Dead that are a bit immature script writing wise, and I hope Red Dead 2 pushes the envelope, avoids the GTAs, because I don't want GTA in Red Dead. I want Red Dead as Red Dead. You know what I mean?
Oh, that's like it's a slower game. It's a slower paced game, and that is the element where I feel you got people on the kind of Rockstar train, and anything that they release, everyone's all over it, and it's just like the most exciting thing ever. But there is a lot of people who found the first Red Dead kind of boring. Like, they were like the start of it being around the farm and doing jobs and stuff. Like, people were like, oh, it's a bit boring. So compared to, like, you put on GTA 5, you're immediately opening to a heist, and it's a different audience. I know Rockstar have that badge and that kind of identification, but at the same time, Red Dead it's not always for everyone, and it's going to be very interesting to see, because I know we're all excited, the whole team is.
Oh man,
but
I need that game.
I as a game of the year thing, I'm interested, because God of War was a big fucking surprise.
Well, a game I remember talking about in conversations, not for Game of the Year, but in the awards we do, Child of Light and Valiant Hearts, two UbiArt games, are coming to Switch. And interestingly, the accidentally on purpose leak in the background of the image that this is by the Ubisoft people, there's an image of Child of Light running on Switch, and in the background there's a thing that says Child of Light 2. So, just a quick hit there, really. There's no
I've never played the first one.
You'd love it.
Played a bit of it.
You'd love it.
I've played a little bit of Child of Light, but not a lot. Because I somehow got it for like 99p, like ages ago.
Okay.
Like, it was like a boxed copy on PC
nice.
for 99p.
Did that come with
like,
the USB keyring thing?
I can't remember.
Because I remember there was like a little flame USB stick that came with it.
Possibly.
Yeah.
It was like a little art book, I think, something like that with it.
Well, obviously they're hoping they sell a few more copies, because, that's why they do these things. Sony don't, though, because they are celebrating 500 million PlayStations sold worldwide with a new limited edition PS4 Pro. I want this.
See, I think the Spider-Man one looks better.
I do. Because my PS4 Pro is, I think, dying. Like, the fans are absolutely insane. Like, it is. You play God of War, you have to wear headphones. Like, I have to.
No way.
Does it sound like mine did? Like that first one I had?
Well, I don't know, because I don't know how yours sounded, but it was like I say, I promise you, I'm not exaggerating. I have to turn the TV up to such a ridiculous volume. I can't hear the TV over the sound of the fans.
Yeah.
I've taken it apart as best I can without breaching the warranty, and I've blown out some of the dust, but obviously the actual fans are clogged with dust.
Dude, it's worth opening. You should open it.
Well, it's out of warranty. Maybe I should, but like,
you should just open it.
Because I've got a PS4 Slim, and that doesn't make any noise at all. It's almost silent.
Yeah.
But I do like the look of this. I just don't like the price of it. It's really nice looking, but I don't like the price of it. It's 2 terabyte model. It's a PS4 Pro. It's got the controllers sort of translucent as well. No one else is a bigger fan of it as me.
Well, I still need to upgrade to a Pro.
Well, you better get on this, because it's August. It's going on sale for pre-orders, and it's only 50,000 of them.
Oh, brilliant! And I've loads of money. I'll buy them all.
Speaking of God of War again, though, the New Game Plus mode launches on August the 20th, and I'm just looking down here at the patch notes, basically. Relive the journey with your previous armors and enchantments, test your skills against higher level enemies, some of which might have a few new tricks up the sleeve. Unique to New Game Plus is a brand new rarity level of equipment. Collect scap slag, a new resource to upgrade your gear to the best of the best from our finest blacksmiths. Play the game in a whole new way by exploring new customization options of extremely powerful armors and enchantments. Get right back into the action with newly added ability to skip through cinematics in both New Game and New Game Plus once a playthrough has been completed. That's cool.
Yeah.
Do you reckon we'll get a DLC announcement for that game this year?
I don't think
Really?
they're going to do any.
Well, no, because think when you go to... spoilery. Are there not some areas on the fast travel place that it just says this will never be accessible.
Yeah, I
assumed that was for DLC.
So I just don't know what they do.
I kind of don't want it, if I'm honest.
Just more challenge stuff like Niflheim and Musclefoam. Just more challengey stuff.
Yeah, I'd rather just leave it and just move on to the next one. Because
Yeah.
we all know there's got to be a sequel.
Oh, there's going to be 2 more.
So I'd rather they just move on to that. Just go, right, this game. And it's nice that they've worked, put a bit more stuff into it. But yeah, I'd rather just go, right, that's it now. We'll patch it, if there are any issues, but other than that, we're on God of War 2 or whatever they call it now.
Well, speaking of sequels, Doom Eternal, they finally showed some gameplay at QuakeCon. It's coming to Switch as well on release date with their Panic Button, who did the last Doom port and Wolfenstein ports. They're doing that. Don't have a release date for it yet. Have any of you watched the trailer? Well,
yeah, I watched it earlier.
The gameplay. So, question for you, because I've been trying to catch up. I've watched some of the gameplay, but there's quite a bit of it.
Yeah.
Like I see, there's a grapple hook thing. So, is this a sequel to Doom reboot? Because when they first announced it with Doom Eternal, I was like, oh, is this some kind of procedurally generated thing? But then I saw this QuakeCon stuff, like, oh no, it seems to be there is a story.
Yeah, because it's all like it's hell on earth, isn't it? Now?
Yeah,
so
it's like, different places.
Yeah, so it's I think it's a sequel, but then
Okay.
I don't know if they're gonna really have enough story for it to really be like, oh, we're following on, because it's just like you shoot shit until it dies. Basically.
Yeah, see,
Damn right you do, Gaz. Damn right you do.
And that's a fair thing you said there, Gaz, because like you do just shoot shit till it dies, and Doom Eternal doesn't really work for me. I think Doom, if there was any game out there, I think a sequel to Doom would have been just fine as Doom 2.
I don't think they can call it Doom 2 because there is a Doom 2.
Yeah,
But there's also a Doom.
But that's fine. There's also a Tomb Raider. But you can't then call it Tomb Raider 2, can you? Think about the way that you can't call it Doom 2.
Shadow. So
Doom Eternal isn't
Battlefront
great.
didn't care, I suppose, but
Like Doom Eternal makes it feel like it's the Game of the Year edition.
I don't even care what it's called. I just can't. Is there any chance I get this year?
no.
No, probably not.
No,
I don't know, actually.
I think we're going towards the arse end of next year. I don't think
gas.
Yeah,
Oh
I don't
no,
think we're gonna have
I'd say it'd be
early.
February at latest.
Okay.
When's
Prey out? When's Prey? That's next year, isn't it?
Prey?
Not Prey. Sorry, fucking hell. Rage 2. Why hell?
Yeah,
I don't know why I called it Prey.
No, I don't either. Yeah, I can't remember when it is. It's next year.
I'm checking.
sure they announced the date.
Both Doom and Rage
June.
are available on Xbox Game Pass, by the way, as well. So
you should play Rage.
Yeah.
June is Rage 2.
Yeah. Yeah. It's not coming out before Rage 2.
Well, will it come out before Nintendo's online services, though? Sorry, Adam, I cut you off there. Go on, what were you going to say?
No, I was very quick, just while we're on Rage, because we don't have it in the news. Rage 2 will also have flying vehicles, which is madness.
Great stuff. I didn't see this. I'm still catching up on QuakeCon. But yeah, Nintendo have announced that its paid service is coming the second half of September. But it's also been let out there that your save data that you back up, like everyone does with your cloud saves, not all games. Not all.
Bomb.
I mean, at this point, should they just say, look, we're not going to bother, actually. We're just going to... The Switch is selling so well. Should they just say, look, we're not going to do it. We changed our mind. We're just going to do what, we're just going to carry on as we are.
I would, but I don't know. I just can't help but think that this is just going to flop.
Like Smash Brothers.
The online server thing?
It won't.
I don't think it's going to do as well as they hope it will.
But it's cheap enough.
I'm with Gaz.
It's cheap enough that people will put a year down, and even if it does flop, it won't matter because people have already paid for a year anyway. I'll pay for a year. What, isn't it like 20 quid for the year or something silly?
Something like that.
I'll pay for a year just to not have to stress about it with online games. No, I won't use it. I'll pay for it so that in the off chance I play Mario Tennis or Splatoon online, I haven't got to worry about it. But they're on a hide to nothing because, as I say, Splatoon 2, I could go and play online right now for free, and then they're going to add a paywall to it, which is just a bad look for anyone. But they're flying so high, I guess they don't care. Let's not end on too big of a bummer. Let's just jump into listener correspondence, shall we? Chris Hyde, he asked, I won't ask about Smash because I know I'll end up raging when I listen to it back. I'm sorry, it's not my fault that Nintendo have confirmed it's not a fighting game. Anyway, he wants to know, which smaller indie game is each one of you looking forward to the most?
I think we all know mine.
Do we?
I've been talking about it for so fucking long.
Jesus.
Below.
Well, yeah, but... Oh, yeah. Is that still... Yeah, of course it is. You interviewed him. Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be out this year.
Mm.
They're fucking happy. You told me it was.
Indie game that's coming this year.
What was that other one as well? It's like a Nordic one. Pixel art. It's like a roguelike.
Ita?
Yeah.
That's not got a release date, mate.
Is that ever coming?
It is, but it's
just
apparently
disappeared.
it's a way off yet. Do you know the one I'm kind of looking forward to trying is well, one of them I'm actually playing right now, so I can't talk about it. But the other one is, by the time of the recording, will be out. The time of publishing this podcast, Death's Gambit. Which, judging by the fact that I've got Gary down to review it and he's not reviewing it at the moment, speaks great about when we're going to be getting that review up, doesn't it, Gus? that is apparently out on Tuesday. So when you hear this, yesterday. So if a review's popped up, fucking hell, Gary ploughed through that one. Yeah, I'm quite looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to Fire Pro Wrestling World hitting consoles because
that looks pretty cool.
People seem to talk about that like it's a real good game. So
I've seen some gameplay online from the PC version, and it looks fucking ridiculous.
Yeah.
But it kind of reminds me of the old WWF games that were on like the Mega Drive and stuff. You know, it's that kind of style, which I'm kind of into, even though I don't really follow wrestling in any way anymore.
What about, Super Meat Boy Forever for me, obviously, if it is this year. What about that game, the last night? Donut County's this month. Adam, any that you're into?
Nothing up. Like, if I'm honest, the ones I was really looking forward to are now out.
Like, yeah.
Do you know, Dead Cells was there, and so was Salt and Century. So I just need to get to them. Like, but yeah, there's a cool game I remember seeing a bit back, and I don't know where it's at now. But did any of you ever hear of a game called Death Trash?
No.
It's like the cyberpunk RPG kind of game. Looks pretty cool. I don't know where it's at though.
Oh, but there was that one that they showed for Xbox as well, that Cyberpunk one. Is it Last something?
Last Night?
Yes.
The Last Night?
Yeah, that looks good. I don't know when. I don't know if that's due this year or not. But that looks interesting.
Let's move on anyway. McPoo asks, do any of you like visual novels, and if so, which ones? The only one I can think of, I think that I would play that would qualify under this is Danganronpa, which isn't fully visual novel. But it is part visual novel.
Yeah,
I think Mikhail plays a lot of visual novels. I can't remember if he did write or is writing a piece on those.
The only one I think I've played was again like part. And that was that Tokyo Dark, which I thought was very good. But yeah, I'm not really one for visual novel. I don't know why. I like my story, so technically I should be into them, but for whatever reason I don't really play them.
I tell a lie. Again, well, it's an adventure game that's a visual. Zero Escape Virtue's Last Reward was a good game. I like that series as well.
I think one of them is actually free. It's either this month or last month for PlayStation on the Vita. You could get Virtue's Last Reward for free.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
I'm guessing you don't play visual novels?
I've played both of the Danganronpa games. Like, I didn't play the third one. I have it to play. As you said,
3 was supposed to be out this year. Now I think about it.
I think it is out.
Oh, is it? I can't remember. I can't keep up with everything, Adam.
I think I said this before, but I got a really nice... I remember, very quick story. When I was working in GameStop, I remember we were not getting in the sequel, the Danganronpa 2. And I don't know why, we just weren't getting it. So I was kind of like a bit bummed out because I just really wanted it. I wanted a physical copy as well. And To be fair, the developer actually emailed me like a code for free, like when he heard that we were trying to get in the store. Really nice guy.
Pretty cool.
Yeah.
Okay. Thomas asks, LlamaFluff42 says, well, he's asked 2 questions. We'll save one for next week, I think. We'll save this one for next week that I'm highlighting that people can't see. But since Gary's here this week, he wants to know, no one is mentioning V-Rally, yet it's out in September. I thought there'd be loads of more hype for it. What do you reckon?
Never knew there was another V-Rally coming.
I think that's the thing. Because they've not... I've seen a couple of little bits on Twitter, but they've not really shouted about this. And
I have seen some PR emails about it, and I keep looking at it going, V-Rally?
Yeah, because I don't know if it's a series that needs to come back, but at the same time, because I've not even seen anything of it myself, so I don't know if it's a case of they're going the old arcade style that they were, or whether they're trying to be more like Dirt, or which if they do that, I don't see it doing that well.
Who's developing it?
I'm imagining Sega. It must be Sega. It's a Sega property, isn't it?
I don't know.
I'm googling V-Rally 2018.
Is it Infogrames, which is now Atari? Did the first one. I don't know.
It is Kiloton Racing Games. Oh, and it's Big Ben publishing it.
Kiloton.
Yep, sure.
Yeah, they've done. They've
September
done some,
this year.
I'm sure they've done some fucking shite.
So they have done. They've done TT Isle of Man, which I'm pretty sure you covered.
Yeah,
they do the WRC games.
They were all right though.
Well, I mean, there's a lot of them. There's FIA 6, 7, 5, TT Isle of Man again, King of the Mountain. I'm looking down Steam basically.
Yeah.
So it'll probably be all right. That's good then.
It's so weird for like a series like that to come back. Like, do you know, it's like someone just going, and we're getting a Porsche Challenge 2. And you're just like, what?
Test Drive Unlimited 3.
You're just like, what the
actually,
fuck?
I would play that, but then that kind of is Forza Horizon.
Yeah.
I don't know. Last question for this week. Craggles at Angry Fodder says, does Adam prefer Cookie or De Cookster? I can never remember, even though ROTMM on Twitter, Darren, definitely explained it to me once. I probably would go with De Cookster, because I have always hated the nickname Cookie. My kid gets called that a lot, and he loves it. Everyone calls him Cookie. That's literally what they call him. I don't like it, hated it. Cookie Monster as a kid, hated it. So I would...
You do realise you saying that you hate Cookie is opening up a major can of worms.
So what if that's a double bluff, Adam?
Ooh.
And what if I really prefer Cookie and hate the Cookster?
Oh, that's not the case.
Isn't it, though?
Playing mind games.
You'll never know if I just realised what I was saying as I said it, or if it was all part of the plan.
I fucking do know. You don't like the word cookie. Hey, Cookie.
Or do I? I like cookies. The cookies are lovely.
They are.
That's true.
Thank you, Adam.
Especially Maryland.
Yes, I was just going to say that. It must be an Adam.
Maryland are fucking just... They're like the Pringles of cookies. You just can't stop.
Do you know what? We've got to ask, because we haven't had one. We haven't had a Gary opinion this week. Gary, Maryland cookies.
Oh, I love them.
Oh, thank God.
I actually had some yesterday.
That
would actually have ended this podcast right here. And your continued employment.
Oh, the nice dipped into a cup of tea as well.
Oh, they are. Yeah, I prefer coffee, but I'm not. Listen. If you dip in,
I can't dip into coffee for some reason.
No, it's not great. It's not great. Tea is better for dipping. I will admit.
Whoa! Let's just calm down here, will we?
Okay.
Can we let that sink in. That something you just agreed with.
Well, if you let it sink
something.
in, you're going to end up with a whole horrible sludgy bit at the bottom of the tea, and I'm not having that at all. That's just. No.
Let's move on from that.
Do you know anybody that puts their biscuit into a cup of tea and just lets it like completely
Nobody
melt?
does that.
No.
Nobody fucking does that.
I want to meet somebody that does.
Someone will reply saying they do. They've made it up. Nobody does that.
Well, I want to hear it. I want to hear all about it. I want to know the experience. I want to know what's the bottom of the cup like. Like, is it like when you have the sugars?
That's got to be disgusting.
Do you use a spoon? Do you use a spoon to scoop it out at the end, or you just let it all slide down your throat? Who knows?
It's the end of the podcast. Thank you very much for listening. Thank you guys for being here as always. It's been an absolute pleasure talking games with you, Adam and Gary. And he's Christian, but you're Gary.
I am.
Yes. Well,
I am.
You are. You're Gary. You'll always be Gary. You'll always be a Gary. The master of the BBC. That will maybe not be. People won't get that right now, and that's not rude. I'll cut
Oh
this.
dear.
I'll cut this. I won't because it's all for the lols and the bants and the bants wagon is out of control.
Bants train. Here we go.
Train is woo. Listen, go to patreon.com/GodIsAGeek, and for $1 a month you get early access to lots of our content, exclusive extended podcast days early, not day, a day, days early. But that is about it for this week's podcast. The games are coming. They're not going to stop for anyone. The podcasts are going to get longer unless they get too spoilery and we can't do them. Maybe there'll be spoiler casts coming up. Who knows? There's lots of games coming. Gary and... Fucking now, I only called Adam Chris now. Gary and Adam, thank you for being here. Woo-woo. The Bants train is just... It's off the rails. And we will speak to you next week or whenever you choose to listen. Thanks very much. Bye-bye.